This is from, oh hi, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Yeah, this is an article on the Seattle Times editorial, from the Seattle Times editorial board, and I thought it was kind of different kind of story, and I wanted to kind of talk about it. They're recommending Phillip Tavel, T-A-V-E-L, Tavel, for Seattle City Council position 1. Now, as Seattle grapples with homelessness, pockets of increased crime, and other ongoing problems, voters must elect city council members with fresh perspectives and expertise. In District 1, the city's southwest corner, including Seattle West, Delridge, and South Park, defense attorney Phillip Tavel is the clear choice. Tavel is an articulate progressive who represents, who respects the diverse perspectives in District 1. The area includes high-density urban villages, a mix of employment centers and single-family neighborhoods, housing many families supported by industries south and west of downtown. A pressing challenge is closing gaps between the city's expansive homelessness response and its underfunded criminal justice system. The recent study funded by business and neighborhood groups found at least 100 prolific criminal offenders have slipped through these grasps, escaping punishment and repeatedly victimizing homeless residents and retail workers and others. As a defense attorney who helps offenders navigate the system while sharing community safety concerns, Tavel could immediately contribute to reform efforts with authority. Now, if you didn't just hear what I read, let me read it to you again. As a defense attorney who helps offenders navigate the system, he helps them navigate the system, which means that he's part of the reason that they're out on the street and that they're not behind bars where they should be. While sharing community safety concerns, Tavel could immediately contribute to reform efforts with authority. Challenger Brendan Colding, a former police lieutenant who ran for the legislature in 2016, could be a strong advocate for safety and civility, but doesn't have Tavel's breadth of experience, which also includes teaching physics and working in retail and video game industries. Oh, okay. So, what they're saying is that they want somebody that is going to look like they're doing stuff, but they're not doing much of anything. That's what they're saying. And I'm not for sure if I'm really buying it. I really don't know if I am. You guys can decide for yourself. But I think it should be somebody that doesn't understand, that doesn't necessarily, they're not really proud of the fact that they teach physics and they're working in the retail and video game industry. The incumbent Lisa Herbold is a former council aide elected in 2015. She has raised the bar for being responsive to constituent inquiries and on a few instances took principled stands against her peers. But Herbold's extreme left politics are now causing the city more harm than good. That includes her support of homelessness services. That includes her support of homelessness services providers. Man, I gotta reread this. Okay, it says here, that includes her support of homelessness service providers, failing to meet even the city's tepid performance standards, and open hostility to large employers. The latter was evident when she and council member Teresa Masquade helped organize labor in New York City rally against Amazon's second headquarters, helping kill a project that would have created tens of thousands of new jobs. Having said that, it would have created tens of thousands of new jobs in New York, but it would have brought those jobs from outside of New York into New York, crowding New York even worse. The same as it did here in Seattle. Amazon opened up 25,000 new jobs, but did they hire 25,000 Seattleites to fill those jobs? Hell no. They hired 25,000 people outside of the state of Seattle. Yes, they did. Back in Seattle, this attitude contributes to Amazon's recent decision to move thousands of jobs to Bellevue. More power to them. That means that there'll be thousands of less people in Seattle, gunking up the ways. The concern is not for Amazon, which can take care of itself, but for Seattle's business climate and long-term ability to create and retain jobs. High-paying jobs lost to other cities translates to a lower economy, lower rent, easier for people to maneuver around Seattle. When you're filthy, stinking fucking rich, it's going to be difficult for the lower class and the poor to be able to live. Why is it that the rich are the only ones that should be allowed to enjoy Seattle? Why? I don't get it. Why? Many city residents are tired of activist council members crusading on behalf of special interests while allowing the city's allowing the city's real challenges to spiral out of control. This was demonstrated by the flood of ordinary residents petitioning against a job-killing employee head tax that Herbold championed. The council approved it and then repealed it in the face of a backlash, which I think that was a good thing. Incumbents have impeded efforts to get better results for the city's ever-increasing spending on social services. In lockstep with powerful unions holding sway at City Hall, they've alienated employees and they've alienated employers who create jobs and opportunities to escape poverty. Yeah, right. You bring in nothing but people from outside the goddamn city. Sorry. Let me rephrase. Y'all bring in people from outside the city. Y'all don't help the ones that are already living in Seattle. Now, if it's a transplant that moved to Seattle to get a job and couldn't and ended up getting stuck there, yeah, maybe they get a job. The spending is cast as a moral imperative, even though wasting tax dollars and failing to punish those who repeatedly rob and assault people harms the homeless and working people alike. The effect is to make Seattle less affordable and less safe for everybody. In short, the status quo is no longer acceptable. Tavel in District 1, there's still wanting you to vote for that guy. I'll have to look into him. Anyway, this has been, let's see here. Oh, incumbents have impeded. Herbold and other incumbents lament regressive taxes, then repeatedly push for more regressive property taxes. They're increasing city spending faster than population growth. From 2016 to 2017, city population growth hit a record 2.5%, and general fund city spending grew 11.9%. This spending is cast as a moral imperative. They always tell you it's a moral imperative, don't they? Anyway, I apologize for my video being not as polished as other people. I'm just a lowly servant of the people, trying to help the city of Seattle the best way I know how. I contact the city council as much as possible. I write letters to the governor of the state of Washington. I write letters to the city mayor of Seattle, the mayor of Seattle. I'm going to be taking a trip to Seattle here in the next month or so, or in the next 2 months, August or September. I'm going to be taking a trip into Seattle. I'm going to be doing a hands-on approach to the homeless problem. I was planning on running for mayor in 2021, but that is not going to happen. But I'm going to make my presence known between 2021 and 2025. Yes, between 2021 and 2025. I found a way to get to Seattle much cheaper than I had normally thought, so I can go up there a lot quicker. I will be going around talking to several of the companies that are in downtown Seattle, various places where I used to live when I lived in Seattle. I'll be talking to the people at the Pike Place Market. I'll be talking to the ones that operate restaurants in and around the city. I'll be talking to little mom and pop stores that offer convenience to people that come in to buy their goods. There's restaurants in Pioneer Square that I used to eat at. I'll be talking with them. So I'll be finding out a lot of things that the city wants, and also I'm going to be posing questions to the homeless while I'm there that I can get a chance to speak to and find out just how much they want to get off the street as opposed to wanting to stay homeless and possibly drug addicted and alcohol phased. Something has to be done, but I apologize for my video being not as polished, like I said earlier. I do the best I can with what I have to work with, and that's my trusty tablet, my Nikon digital camera, L830, and me. So, having said that, this has been All Things Considered, because I consider all things. Have a good night, Seattle, and all points beyond.